What's going on, Hood Nation? Nidge here, DFX, doing a non-spoiler the first half of this and a spoiler the second half. At this time, you guys should probably see a timestamp if you want to go ahead and get forward to the spoiler part. But this beginning half is going to be dedicated to some of you cats that haven't seen it yet and at least want to know what this movie is about. The second half was scripted a lot better. I took a lot of time to sit down. So this is going to be more off the hook, or just to get my point across from a non-spoiler point of view. Overall, I think the movie is good. I like that it tapped into some nostalgic moments throughout the movie, as it should, because it's a Pokemon, franchise or whatever you want to call it. The characters and actors all felt good at first. One of the characters, his friend, like I said, I don't want to spoil it too much, but y'all know there's a Lucy in there. She was in the trailer. At first, her acting seemed a little bit weak, in my opinion. But later on, it felt like she got better at it or something. I don't know. They should have redone some of the beginning. Something just seemed off, at least in my radar. Like I never ever think about acting is good or bad until it really like just hits me, and that hit me at the beginning. So with that being said, there was that I had. And a lot of the traveling around and just the adventure aspect of it, I think it's a hell of a ride. It really shows the teamwork that's going to be needed for everyone in this movie to make it through. And I'm going to tell you all right now, I don't even want to say anything because it would just plant, things. But it just, all I can say is the writing was amazing. It was really good. I heavily recommend it. It's well put together. It's kind of dark for a movie, in my opinion. And that's the best way I can explain a non spoiler, really, without spoiling it. Sorry, it's so hard because I don't know. Everyone's got their own opinion on what a spoiler is and a non-spoiler. But without further ado, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the spoiler section. The story begins with Tim being encouraged by his last standing friend in their small town. Everyone else from his childhood has seemed to have flown the nest. It is here. Tim is being encouraged to get back into the Pokemon phase by his friend. The capture of a Cubone, however, goes south, and we find Tim probably needing a change of underwear. I like this part for fan service reasons, because this is what Pokemon was all about, capturing Pokemon. It was nice that they at least attempted to put something like that into this movie. Back in the city, we learn that Tim's occupation is being an entry-level insurance worker with no real further ambition other than a hope of an internal promotion sooner or later while living with his grandma. Out of the blue, however, our boy gets a phone call about his dad dying. He hopped the soonest train to the big city of Rhyme. This city is where Pokemon and human live side by side in equality and was made possible by Howard Clifford. This moment, I think, was one of the goosebump moments of our story. Just to see all the Pokemon walking around, I just wanted to start saying, oh, there's Charizard, oh, there's Jigglypuff, oh, there's etc., etc., etc. But I had to contain myself, obviously, in the theater. Tim visits his dad's employment, which is detective work. He gets the keys to the crib to vacate the place. When entering his dad's building, he bumps into an eager-driven intern reporter, along with her Psyduck. Yes, migraine adorable platypus, or duck. She believes there is more than meets the eye with Tim's father, and it just doesn't add up of what happened. Tim brushed off Lucy's conspiracy and headed for the apartment. This is your cliche guy and girl meet moment, but actually plays a key role. It wasn't forced like other movies. After he explored the residence, he discovered a vial with a nasty purple substance that made him cough and polluted the airway in which direction the wind blew when it opened. He sat down in a room that was made for him, but he never saw it until now because he never bothered to visit his dad. His mind flashed back to times when he had a chance to visit his father, and he mostly brushed it off. He wanted to stay with Grandma instead. He also tapped into one of his darkest hours of his life, remembering when his mother died when he was really young. This was an emotional moment that I felt would explain right without rushing. Wiping the tears from his face, he heard some noise in the apartment. He discovered really quickly that a Pikachu was present, but most of all, it was wearing a hat and he could understand what it was saying. This led the two teaming up to figure out what happened to Harry because Pikachu, although claiming to have amnesia, is 100% positive or confident that he was partnered with Harry because of the information on the hat that he's wearing. The introduction of Pikachu was cute and made us all laugh with the witty dialogue, so I really enjoyed it. It was so nice. It was done well. The purple gas, however, that we explained before, it turned out to be known as R, which drives Pokemon nuts. And it just so happened a few Pokemon were chilling on the other side of the open window earlier. The two had to escape the best they could and survive long enough for the gas to wear off the arranged Pokemon. Their first stop was to find a Pokemon mime and squeeze him for info. I really enjoyed the push and pull choreography that was shown here, as Tim and Pikachu were starting to learn how to work together, along with just laughs and the mime. It really was just amazing and awesome how they did it. After getting what they needed, they headed to a club which appeared to have illegal Pokemon cage fighting. The owner recognized Pikachu and wanted to rematch him against his Charizard. Pikachu accepted, but realized after getting in the cage, he forgot all of his abilities as well. I personally was disappointed with this fight because I actually wanted to see a Pokemon fight and not just a ridiculous Tom and Jerry moment. However, it did show the connection between Tim and Pikachu growing, despite Tim's initial attitude to Pikachu by going in the cage to save Pikachu or work together to defeat Charizard. The club went chaotic because the owner of Charizard mishandled the vile R gas, which he happened to have as well, and it spread across the whole club, and the Pokemon inside went berserk. The police showed up, and our heroes were arrested. Somehow they were released, but taken to the man himself who made the city possible. It was Howard Clifford. Tim tried to explain to Roger about his father being alive, but he was shown a hologram of Mewtwo breaking out of a facility and hunting down his retreating father, ultimately knocking him off a bridge, but spared Pikachu with just a mind wipe because Mewtwo believes all humans are scum. Tim feels all hope is lost until Pikachu perks him up with his optimistic personality. Tim remembers Lucy the reporter and reaches out to her right away. Lucy did some mean digging and discovered a random facility exploded nearby. Not only that, it was the same day that Tim's father was killed and the location of the crash was very close to the facility. The gang breaks into the facility to find answers about Dad. They discovered through a database history hologram that Dad was working to capture Mewtwo, and in the end, Pikachu ended up betraying Dad. Little do our heroes know, they were being surveillanced the whole time by Howard's son, Roger Clifford, and he released random experimented Pokemon that were abandoned in that facility with a push of a button. Our team escapes with lots of crazy choreography and critical thinking skills. There was one cheap shot of political crap when Pikachu made a global warming comment as the whole area was being ripped apart like an earthquake on crack, putting out a 30 on the Richter scale. It turns out to be mutated Pokemon and not global warming that was causing this, but I digress. The team barely escapes again with their lives, but Pikachu took a massive blow. He was dying and needed medical attention badly. During this time, Lucy decided to get the car ready and drive back for them. Luckily for the team, a pack of Bulbasaurs led him to the right place. But was it the right place? Mewtwo shows up randomly, makes Pikachu talk to the hand. Mewtwo healed Pikachu. Before they could get answers, however, Mewtwo was captured by Roger and taken away. Tim knew who it was, but got into it with Pikachu shortly after. The guilt overtook our furry friend, and he abandoned Tim. Tim, alone with Lucy and Psyduck, rushed back to town to tell Howard Clifford that his son was behind this all along. As Tim was racing up the elevator, Lucy was scheming a way to break the news to everyone on the streets. Meanwhile, Pikachu is still out in the woods depressed, crossing over the Death Bridge. He noticed the bridge had damage, but it wasn't from Mewtwo. It was from those experimented Pokemon, and it was Mewtwo that was actually trying to save them. Pikachu rushes back to town ASAP. As Tim walked into Howard's office, he saw Mewtwo captured, telling Tim to run. It all clicked for our hero. So was both the father and son behind this scheme? No. Howard was using a Ditto Pokemon to pose as his son, while the real Roger was locked away in the closet. Howard takes over Mewtwo's body, and his ultimate scheme was revealed, to literally fuse all human and Pokemon together. The final fight scene was really good at moments for doing fan service of the angles of Pikachu during the combat. This made it feel like the Game Boy game's battle screen. It did a bullseye in my book without over-cheesing it, if that makes sense. A lot of clashing happens, but our heroes do win in the end by destroying the technology and also freeing Mewtwo. Tim asks Mewtwo if he could undo everything, and he does. But this is the biggest plot twist of the movie when Tim asks, "Where is my father?" Mewtwo responds, and honestly, I wish I knew the exact word it was, because it was amazing. I will try my best to quote him, but he said something amongst the lines of, "He was with you all along." Yeah, that's right. Detective Pikachu was really Tim's father the whole time. Pikachu sacrificed his body during the crash. Mewtwo proceeds to unbind the fusion, bringing his dad's body back into existence. The context was never clear with those holograms, but it all made sense now. Lucy got the story to tell at the evening slot, and Tim decides to live or stay together longer with his dad, and what appears to be the start of a healthy father-son relationship. At this time, I'm going to read off the three things I call the positives of the movie, the negatives of the movie, and the WTFs of the movie. The positives of the movie. It was very funny. You're not going to go to that movie without cracking and laughing at the moments. The nostalgia. The emotion moments were really done well, especially with the father-son dialogue with Tim. Amazing performance. And it really does show you the importance of time with your family, because it gave out a good message. With in the end, he ended up working with his dad the whole time without even realizing it. It's very rare you come across some type of message that deep and well put together in a movie. Now here's my negatives of the movie. The Charizard fight. It was, like I said, a big Tom and Jerry cheese fest of him just dodging, running around, and nothing really productive happened, and it was just ridiculous. So like I said, I was hoping for a real deal battle, but you can't always get what you want. The ending was done like a car driving into a brick wall. There was no kiss or future dates with Lucy, but to be fair, the guy doesn't always have to get the chick. I was hoping to see the actual news report for Lucy personally, especially as an actress, for her to shine. I felt that would have been her big moment, and it just never happened. Also, Ryan Reynolds, perhaps he was being modest, but his screen time was so short. I really want to see more of an actual epilogue than that ending. And last but not least, the WTFs of the movie. Tim not noticing the voice of Pikachu was his dad's voice. Like, how do you not know that's not your father's voice? One could say he never ever talked to him this whole time in all these years, but I highly doubt that. It doesn't make any sense that you don't know what your father sounds like. I would understand, of course, if you've never met your dad. Okay, that makes sense. And followed along of how did the people's bodies fit into the Pokemon when fused? I know it's a movie, but Howard's body never fused. It was just with his mind with that headpiece. So maybe that was just the technology he did to justify it. But everybody else, literally, their human body and spirit would just go right into the Pokemon. Like, this is like, and then when they came back out, they were fully clothed and everything. Now, obviously, it's a PG movie, so I'm not expecting a bunch of butt naked people to come popping out of Pokemon, but it just really didn't make any sense to me. Anyways, y'all, I hope you guys did like that part of this. Like I said, I spoiled it all mostly, and I gave my opinion throughout it, while also kind of giving it a narrative perspective. If you guys like this, please let me know with the likes, dislikes. Leave comments if you thought it was too ridiculous or whatever. I'm trying to get better at reviewing movies as well for this channel. Anyways, you guys, at this time, you probably will start seeing some stuff appear on the left and right. It's your chance to join the Hood Nation. But you know what? If I ain't your cup of tea, I'll go find it's out there. Believe it. This is Nidge from DFX, and I'm out.